The next match is between two players who must surely rate in the top 5 of the greatest players of all time. Dittmar, the left-handed Australian, incredible good technique and one of the greatest tactical players of all time. Sadly, he never won many majors due to the fact that he was playing at the same time as Jansher and Jansher. A very powerful mover onto the ball for a big man. And then we have Jansher Khan. That's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, mover on the squash court. His technique was a very simple technique that very rarely broke down under pressure, which made him one of the most difficult players to move around the squash court. In this knockout, look how early both players cocked their wrists to get set in the perfect position for the shot. Both players set the wrist very early. Look at Jansher here. The racket early set and hits everything through in the open face, giving him the control of the racket face. Here it shows Jansher's early set in his wrist as he hits through the ball. Now he gets the ball on his backhand. Look at the early set, early preparation, and as he hits through the ball, the racket goes up and not across his body, which means he stays on the line of the shot all the time. There's the set of the wrist, and he hits a volley. Always the early set and the cocked wrist giving him control of the racket face. In the next few shots Chris plays, look at the early set in his wrist as he hits the ball. When he hits the long line, look at the end position where the wrist is still set in the same position, the racket stays open, giving him control over the line of the ball. Here he gets himself into post, and look at the open face as he finishes the post here. Nice open face, giving him the control of the shot. Very early set in the wrist, and always following the ball with an open face, never rolling the wrist over, which loses control. Here again, the ball comes into the back corner, he gets this wrist set up very early, makes space with his feet, and a nice open face. Look where he ends, the racket face is still in line with the ball, giving him total control of the ball. In this first rally, you see Dittmar's aggressiveness to hunt the ball down and work his opponent into the front of the court. But it also shows Jansher's ability to severely punish you with his speed if you play a weak shot that he can get onto and attack it. You can see both players trying to find the length in the court for the first few rallies, hitting the ball deep. And look at Dittmar making space with his legs here to give himself an easy swing. Here he catches Jansher trying to flick across court. Dittmar looking for the volley short, doesn't really control it, and there again Jansher like a flash into the front, and a quick easy point for him to start the match off with. It's a great example of Jansher's serve. He steps right across after the serve and stands perfectly poised on the tee before Dittmar hits the ball. Good serve into the back corner. Look in this rally how good both players set their rackets up in a good hitting position very early. Both of the rackets back very early in the swing, so they've got time to control it. And both players technically very correct. As they hit through the ball, the face stays open and follows the line of the ball wherever they want to hit it. Great control of the racket face from both players. Here you can see the match has just started, both not really finding their length yet, but in the end it's Dittmar who hits a perfect length into the forehand right corner to put Jansher under pressure. Here you see Dittmar looking for the volley, realizing it's too tight, letting it go, and hitting out of the back corner again. You see both players really fighting for the tee. As they hit the ball, they're moving out of the corners as quickly as possible to set themselves on the tee again, to put pressure under the opponent. There Jansher gets onto it quickly, hits a good cross, and quickly is back to the tee to put Dittmar under pressure. There Dittmar catches Jansher going the wrong way. Jansher trying to hit up the high ball, doesn't really get the length, and Dittmar starting to attack him on the straight drive. Here Dittmar hits the perfect length, but look at Jansher, he takes off on the wrong foot, rackets back, giving himself time to get underneath the ball, but the length is just too good for him. Here is another perfect example of the serve. Dittmar, perfect balance, hits the serve and steps straight across onto the tee to control the tee beautifully. As Jansher hits the post here, look at that nice open controlled face as he plays through the ball. And Dittmar, early preparation, hits the cross ball with a nice open face and puts Jansher under pressure in the back corner. As Jansher tries to flick cross court, Dittmar in a perfect position to volley, and has Jansher under lots of trouble in front of the court. Here Jansher plays a weak cross back to Dittmar, who attacks him in the front, but it's not severe enough. And look how quickly Jansher gets onto this ball and puts Dittmar under pressure in the back corner, hitting it hard at him. Now look at this perfect position Jansher gets himself into. Rack in a great hitting position, able to hit anything he wants. He elects to push Dittmar into the back corner, getting under more pressure in that point corner. Slowly working him out of position, always using the angles to work him hard. And here you watch him use the post with the open face, and Dittmar getting caught with his weight back, now having to work very hard, and he elects to play the lob to give himself time to get back in the rally. Jansher steps in, uses the volley again, and Dittmar having to work very hard, uses the lob to get himself time to get back to the tee. The perfect lob. Being in a lot of trouble, he's got himself in a very good position here, and now gets himself set up and plays perfect length down the wall, on the wall to win the point. Having been in a lot of trouble in that rally, and got himself back in the rally nicely with a couple of good lobs. Here's a great example of the feet positioning in the back corners. Jansher sets himself up, hits the ball, and look how quickly he gets himself back to the tee. But the feet are set up parallel to the back wall and the shoulders parallel to the side wall. Perfect position for that shot. And here Dittmar rushing the shot as he hits the ball down the middle and gives the stroke to Jansher. In this rally, it's another good example how both players set themselves up in the back corner with their feet position, which allows them the ability to hit any shot they want to. As both players go in the back corner, they have a similar foot position, setting themselves up to be able to hit anything out the back corners. Here Dittmar sets himself up with the feet. Nice distance from the ball, and it's great long line. Jansher setting himself up again, using the long line. Look how much of the front wall Jansher uses. He's never hitting the ball hard and low. He's using all of the front wall to give himself time to get back to the tee. So perfect length, forcing him to post and making a mistake. Here's a great example of Jansher's open face on the volley. Look how still the racket face is when he hits the ball. Nice and open, cocked wrist. Look at that, nice and open, and great control over the racket face as he hit that ball. Here, Dittmar putting Jansher under pressure in the back corners and steps in and looks for the volley. Good position, nice distance from the ball, but tries to play it too perfect and clips the top of the tin. This next rally is a good example of the right shot at the right time. Here, Jansher serves to Dittmar, and Dittmar decides to attack Jansher in the front of the court. And look at Jansher, feeling the pressure, has to lob, gets his racket underneath the ball and plays a great lob to get himself out of trouble. And Dittmar steps in then to put him under pressure with a volley. And look, he's had Jansher in the front of the court, now he puts Jansher right in the back. Jansher under a lot of pressure knows his only opportunity is to flick it off the back wall. Now look at the early preparation of Dittmar and how long he waits before he hits the ball. Putting Jansher again under pressure in the back corner. Here Jansher chooses to use the post, and Dittmar moves a bit too straight into the ball here, not through the middle, and closes himself down, which makes the drop a bit difficult for him, and Jansher's most probably lucky to get away with a good let there. In this rally, you really see Dittmar deciding to attack Jansher, attacking everything on the volley and chopping it short. Jansher, realizing this, starts to use the whole of the front wall. He has a good ability to use the whole front wall. He plays a lot of his game above the middle red line when he's going to the back, which makes it difficult. There, Dittmar using the volley again, and watch Jansher using the height of the front wall to get Chris behind him. And here, Chris is starting to feel the pressure a bit. Jansher moving him around, and look at this break in the wrist for the post. And Dittmar, beautifully balanced, hits it. Not a great cross, and Jansher steps in and pushes Dittmar with a straight volley down the wall. Look at that, getting Dittmar really stretched in the back corner under pressure. Now Jansher starting to look to push him into the back corners to create an opening. But look, in this rally, the length of both players is impeccable, always into the back corners, making the other players stretch. And here, look at the good feet positioning from Jansher, yeah, and perfect length down the wall. Chris Dittmar also, early preparation, good feet positioning, and another good length going off into the back corners. Both players really feeling each other out here, trying to get their length going for the match, and working each other around the court. And then Jansher looking for the volley, decides to step back, nice feet positioning, and look how quickly he's back onto the tee as he hits that cross, getting Dittmar into the back corners. Both of them really starting to find their length here. You can see most of their balls bouncing behind that service box. Great length from both players. They start to slowly work their player further and further back into the corner, which gives them time to get onto the tee. Good feet position from Jansher, and look how quickly he's out of that back corner. Both of them driving into that back corners. Another good length from Dittmar, using also the height of the front wall. Got Jansher a bit under pressure here. Jansher using the bows to get Dittmar in the front. Look at this nice hold, and then the hard cross court, really getting Jansher stretched. Now Jansher using the height of the front wall again to get himself time to get back to the tee. Very good use from both players of the front wall. Dittmar hitting another good length into the back corner, getting Jansher stuck in the back corner. Now look at this hold and the cross court, all created by a loose shot from Jansher in the middle of the court, which gave Dittmar the opportunity to attack him. Here is a great example of both players hitting good lengths to the back and stepping forward and looking for the volley to put them under pressure. Here Dittmar hits a bad cross. Jansher steps in, good balance, hits the cross court volley, again behind that surface box, putting Dittmar under pressure. But look at both of them using good height of the ball. Here Jansher on the drop, nice open face, getting Dittmar under pressure in the front. Dittmar using the drop, and look, the speed Jansher gets onto that. Sees the opening, gets on and hits the hard cross, but not well enough. Look, that balances Dittmar. Great stretch, and look where that ball goes to, the back corner. And there Jansher, open face, hits the perfect straight high ball to give himself time to be back on the tee, having to move from the front to the back. Great control from Jansher there, and good work for Dittmar, looking for the volley there to create the pressure. Here again, they're both in back to building the rally, hitting straight balls down the wall. There, Jansher, open face drop again, moving Dittmar into the front, and look at this open face from Dittmar as he hits straight through the ball. Brilliant control, getting Jansher into the back corners again. Both of them back to hitting the back corners to move them around. Look at this nice open face drop, and Jansher under pressure, electing to use the lob, but not quite hitting it well enough and putting himself in a bit of trouble there. This next rally is what divides the men from the boys. A brutal 70-shot rally taking 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Here you see both players really trying to build the rally, waiting for the easier ball to attack the opponent in the front of the court and put him under pressure. And you'll see beautifully in this rally, when both players feel they're under pressure, they use the height of the front wall, which gives them time to get out of trouble. Here Dittmar using that lob to give himself time, and look how quickly he drives back to get back to the tee before Jansher can play the ball, which gives him an opportunity to stay in the rally. But you'll see both players getting put under pressure at different parts of this rally, but both working very hard early on in their match to create pressure and tire the other opponent out. But again, you'll see the great ability of both to use the height of the front wall when they feel under pressure. Even if they have to boast out the back corners, they'll use the high boast often to give themselves time just to get back on the tee. You know, brilliant length from Jansher, and he steps in to use the volley. There Dittmar again under pressure, using the high lob, perfect lob, and look, nicely positioned on the tee. And Jansher heading that length to the back again, get Dittmar behind him. Brilliant rally to look at. And the cross court, look at this good balance and the open faces. He uses a great volley. Jansher quickly onto it, hits the hard cross, not well enough, and look at the length from Dittmar here. And Jansher easily getting into the back corners and hitting it out. But there Dittmar making Jansher work hard, front to back, back to front. And that he hopes will put him in a good position later on in the match. A good feet position from Jansher, and look at the great length down the wall. Look where the balls land in the back corners. Another brilliant length, Dittmar under pressure. It uses good height and gets Jansher right in the back corner. Jansher forced into using the boast. Dittmar uses the lob again. Look at that, gives himself time, perfectly set on the tee. Jansher having to then start from scratch to build the rally up. And they're both using the volley to control the tee. And they're a good boast. Jansher in. Again using the lob, giving himself time to get back on the tee. Dittmar aggressive volley. Jansher, look at the height he uses again to give himself time. And again, give himself perfect length to get back on the tee, and he's in a good waiting position again. And another good cross court from Jansher. Both of them hitting there. Jansher stretched again. Look, up goes the ball, give himself time. Dittmar always looking for the volley. By using the volley, he doesn't give up the tee and can stand nicely poised on the tee. By letting the ball go through, he then gives up the tee and has to play a great shot from the back corners. There, Dittmar using a lot of boast, and there Jansher onto it quickly. Look at that drive. Dittmar under huge pressure, gets it up on the wall. And Jansher, obviously having him in the back corner, uses the boast, can't really control it, but gets Dittmar moving from the front to the back. There, another great cross court, putting Jansher under pressure in the back corners. Look at Jansher, open face, and a great straight flick down the wall, turning Dittmar and making him play off the back wall. Perfect pressure from Jansher. Early preparation, holds it long, and attacks him short. Dittmar stretches him to front, uses the lob again, to give himself time to get back to the tee. Jansher, great volley, and look at the length again, behind that service box, getting Dittmar into the back corners. Both players just waiting for that loose shot that they can attack. And if the shot's not on, hit the ball deep into the back corners so they can get back to the tee and build the rally again. It's all about controlling the tee and building the rally and waiting for opportunities to attack. Nice straight drive, a bit short but very tight. Jansher just plays it high to stay in the rally. With my early preparation and chooses to drop. Jansher under big pressure. Look how he just scoops the ball up and puts it onto the wall, which makes it very difficult for Dittmar to attack. But again, look at that length, straight into the back corner. Both really working each other around the court here. Dittmar under pressure has to hit the high post and gives him time to get back to the tee. If he had hit the low post, he would have put himself under a lot of pressure. And as the rally goes along, you'll see the last point of the rally, Dittmar hits the low post, which gets him into trouble, as Jansher gets onto it quickly and uses the straight drop. But here, Dittmar again, nice little straight drop, driving back Jansher onto it very quickly and hits the hard cross, working Dittmar into that back corner. There again, Dittmar uses the high post, give himself time. Perfect waiting position from Jansher, holds it, and then look at that great angle and good length. There, Dittmar under huge pressure. There he hits the low post, gets himself in trouble, can't cover it, and Jansher quickly into the front with a straight drop. Great rally. In this next rally, really look at the controlled early preparation of both players, and always the open face as they hit shots. The racket face stays nice and open and the wrist stays in the same position. Even on the boasts or the drives or the drops, everything done with a nice open face. Really controlling that face as they hit through. There, Dittmar with a drop, nice open face as he comes through. Jansher quickly onto it, hitting the cross court. Dittmar with a great balanced position to hit the volley. Everything done with a nice open face. All set up by a good wrist position and a good grip. Here Jansher having to use the high post, Dittmar early preparation, waiting really long, and then using a great trickle post, Jansher big stretch and a great flick. Look at that length from a difficult position, getting Dittmar to work hard again. Jansher's movement effortlessly around the court. Dittmar a much bigger person than to take large big steps to get to the ball. Look both of them there, nice early preparation. And the racket face always open as they control the line of the ball through a nice open face. And again you see both players sitting up the wrist early and following the ball with an open face, giving them control over the ball. Here Jansher, nice open face. Look at that follow through, open, controlled wrist position. Here Jansher Dittmar gets himself in a bit of trouble. Jansher turns, but Dittmar makes lots of space, which makes Jansher have to play the ball. He's not going to get a stroke for it. And here, Dittmar under big pressure hits a high post to give himself time. And look at the early position Jansher gets himself in. He holds the shot very long and then hits the cross court with the open face, putting Dittmar under a lot of pressure in that back corner. Dittmar using the height of the front wall again, good length. Jansher again, that set to the wrist, look at the open face, and look where his length goes to. Straight into the back corner, giving him time to get back to the tee. Both players very good here. Jansher on the post, open face, getting Dittmar into trouble in the front. Dittmar uses a great trickle post. Look at that open face when he hits a trickle post. He doesn't roll the face over. Jansher reading it easily and pushing him into the back corners again. There Dittmar hit a nice open face post, and it's hit perfectly as it rolls out of the neck. No chance for Jansher. Look at Dittmar get across here. Perfect balance, good distance from the ball, nice open face as he hits the volley cross court. Jansher getting on there quickly, hits the hard drive to put Dittmar under pressure in the back corner. Look how Jansher then steps in, gets in front of Dittmar and plays the drop of the open face in front of him. Dittmar gets on there quite quickly, hits a great cross. Now Jansher full stretch, uses height, and look how quickly he gets back onto the tee to put Dittmar under pressure again. Quickly in, hits a great cross here. Now look at Dittmar under pressure. Big stretch, hits in a short ball. Jansher using the lob to give himself enough time to get perfectly poised on the tee again. Here Dittmar really tries to crack this long, loses the length, and look how quickly Jansher gets in front of him and plays the straight drop, putting Dittmar under a lot of pressure. Dittmar uses the wrong choice, the drop. Jansher gets in there as quickly as anything and hits the cross court past him and has won the point. Here Jansher serves and Dittmar attacks him straight away, going short. Jansher again under pressure, using the lob. As then Chris steps across and hits a great volley into the back corner. Here comes the lob. But again, you'll see which ease Jansher gets into the back corner and what a great length he hits from a very difficult position. Getting his feet into a good position, hits it beautifully cross-court and gets himself out of position, forcing Dittmar into a boast here. Now look at Jansher getting into the front. Early preparation, set up for a long line drive and stopping it beautifully, open face for a great drop. And Dittmar caught nowhere. In this next rally, you see great footwork from both players in the back corners. Look where they put their feet. They don't close themselves down. They give themselves good opportunity to be able to hit everything. Great position there from Chris. And here Jansher getting in the same position with his feet, able to hit anything out of those back corners. And again, that penetrating length of Jansher's putting Chris Dittmar under pressure. There again, Jansher, look at his feet positioning, not closing himself down, able to hit anything as he hits the cross court. Another penetrating length again behind the service box. Dittmar hitting a good length too. Jansher stretched off the wrong foot, hits it nice and high, get himself back onto the tee. Dittmar playing in the straight drop. Again, Jansher under pressure, gets underneath the ball, and a perfect lob. Here Dittmar going for a winner from the back of the court. Very difficult to do, and making the mistake. And that's the advantage Jansher has. He's always pushing you deep and making you attack him from the back corners and not from the front or the middle of the court. This rally shows both players trying to build the rally, getting their opponent deep. When they feel they've got him under pressure, then attacking. Jansher pushing Chris into the front. Chris dropping Jansher. Jansher quickly onto the ball, hitting the hard cross court. And again here, watch both players as they pick up the length. Jansher stretched. It's a good length. Chris gets onto it quickly, and it's a great length to get Jansher on the back wall. And so then stepping in, and look at the great cross Jansher hits here. Perfect behind the service box. And Chris hitting a good length here again from that. Jansher deciding to boast Chris into the front here. And Chris quickly onto it and plays a cross drop. Now watch how quickly Jansher pounces onto this little cross drop. But sadly for him, he doesn't hit a good cross. And Dittmar gets in, realizes he's got him in trouble, hits the volley. Now look how he looks quickly to cut the ball off. Perfect balance, great follow through, open face, a great length. Now Jansher seriously under pressure, stretches, uses height. Chris steps in and attacks him. Just sadly doesn't hit this ball well enough, and Jansher gets away with a let. In this next rally, you see Jansher being a bit lazy with his footwork as he gets across from the serve. He serves and steps, basically facing the sidewall, and then Chris Dittmar takes advantage and plays the cross drop. Jansher's a bit late getting there. He plays a great drop with an open face, but can't control it. A bit caught asleep there, not really in position to play the drop shot, and hits the tin. This next rally is perfect. Dittmar serves, steps across onto the tee, and looks for the volley. Steps in and gets the volley to put Jansher under pressure. Perfect way to set up a rally. This next rally shows why Dittmar is most one of the greatest players to ever live. Very strong driving down the walls, mixed in with a great length, and always hunting the volley down when he gets the opportunity. Here mixing a good length to the back. Jansher using the boast. Chris gets in here very, look at this hard driving to put Jansher under pressure. Great drive. And now immediately Jansher feels the pressure, lifts the ball, and Chris steps in hunting the volley. Look at that great technique, open face on the short drop. Jansher getting put under pressure, but still hits a great length to the back. But again, Chris mixing it up. Jansher feeling the pressure, lifts the ball, and Chris always there, always hunting for the hard drives. Here, hitting the cross court a bit short. Jansher just waits, slits in. Now Dittmar's under pressure. He uses the lob to get himself back on the tee. Look at that drive back to the tee. Jansher changes the angle yet again. Here Chris again making a lot of space for a nice open drive and hits a great length to put Jansher on a lot of pressure here. And now look how cleverly Chris changes angle to put Jansher more out of court, but chooses the wrong angle again, hitting it back to him. Jansher again feeling the pressure, just lifts it up. But again, there's that great volleying from Chris Dittmar. Set wrist and a beautiful follow through, putting Jansher on a lot of pressure in the back corners. And again, always looking for that volley if he can. Driving it short. Another good length from Jansher, hitting that back corner. But again, Chris finding that length, getting Jansher onto the back wall and looking for the volleys. There's the high boast. Look at the setup there. A nice early preparation. Cross drop in the neck. Jansher under pressure. Uses the lob. And now look at this perfect position. Perfect racket skill and open face in the drop volley. That is what made Chris Dittmar so great. Another good example of Chris Dittmar hunting the ball down and looking for as many volleys as he can play. Always trying to get Jansher behind him and see where he can cut the ball off to volley. There, a good long line. Jansher in the back corner, stretched, plays it up. Chris going for the cross-court drop. Now look at the open face in the cross-court drop. Perfectly controlled. Jansher aggressive on the drive there. Chris under pressure, playing it a bit short. Here, Jansher's a little bit lazy with his feet, gets a bit cramped, and clips the top of the tin. This next rally shows again Chris Dittmar's great ability to hunt the volley down and put the opponent under pressure. But it also shows Jansher at his extreme best of using the whole front wall and waiting until he gets that loose ball that he can attack. Here, Chris again always looking for the volley. Look at perfect balance, great cross court, the angle perfect, putting Jansher under a lot of pressure. Always hunting that volley, driving him deep. But Jansher again, always when he feels pressurized, he just opens the face and gets that ball up on the front wall, which makes it difficult for the opponent to attack him. But look at the two lengths here from both players. Brilliant lengths, always getting near the back of that service box. And then Jansher using the front wall again, behind the service box. Chris hitting it behind the service box. But again, as soon as Jansher feels pressurized, he just uses that front wall. Chris trying to press the pressure here, trying to get in early and force Jansher into a mistake. Here's a great cross-court from Jansher. Chris making space, and look at this great length. Hard, aggressive driving from Chris Dittmar, putting Jansher under pressure in the back corner. Both players keeping it very straight at the moment. Jansher putting in the boast now. Chris getting in there with the racket down, showing Jansher that he's going to drop. Jansher on there very quickly, but under pressure. Look at that wrist cock as he used a perfect lob. And now Chris is in deep trouble. He has to play the high boast, and look at this early preparation and the long hold from Jansher before he hits the perfect cross-court. In this rally, look at the movement of the two players as they move themselves quickly as possible back to the tee. Jansher serves straight back to the tee. Look at Chris, he hits it and moves straight onto the tee. Even the shots out of the back corner, look at Jansher. As he hits, he's starting to move as quickly as he can back onto the tee. It's a perfect example of how they're always in a good position to attack the ball. Here, Jansher gets on quickly, uses the drop. Now look at Chris after he uses the lob here. Look how quickly he drives himself back. Look at that, the big drive, legs working hard, shoulders still fairly parallel to the front wall as he gets into the back corner. Both players very strong movers off the ball. That's where they get their speed from, is that movement back onto the tee that they're in a good position. And Chris really under pressure from a Jansher length. Jansher really waiting hard, and look at the height he uses again. Nice, high, wide, great length, putting Chris under pressure behind him. Again, Jansher using the whole front wall. There again, that length behind the service box, creating the pressure. But both of them, after every shot, look how quickly they drive themselves back onto the. Look at Jansher coming around as quickly as he can. Both players want to be standing comfortable on the tee before the opponent hits the ball, and it's much easier to move on to the ball. There, Chris driving back, blocking Jansher a little bit. But again, look at that, Jansher out the corner as he swings. Perfectly, before Chris hits the ball, Jansher standing on the tee. Look at this volley. Open face, nice follow through. Chris under a little bit of pressure. Nice hard drive, Jansher under pressure now. Look at this little volley. Look how quickly Jansher comes through here. Early preparation, and look at the drive as he gets back to the tee. Always hitting and moving, nothing standing. And you can see both players getting slightly tired and starting to attack the front of the court more and more. In this rally, look at the early set of both players on the racket. Cocking the wrists, great, keeping the racket face open. And again, it shows Chris Dittmar's ability to hunt the ball down and always use the volley. There, Jansher in trouble, just opens the face and plays it high. And Chris now putting him under a lot of pressure. Bad cross. Jansher waiting, just pushing him deep. They both set the wrists up early, and the face is always nicely open when they control the ball. Beautiful sets of the wrist on both players. Here, Chris really using the volley to put Jansher in trouble. Here, Jansher again using his height. Chris on the volley boast, nice open face. Jansher gets onto it and hits the hard. Look at this angle. Perfect. Hits the side wall. He's got Chris Dittmar under pressure in the back corner. Chris trying to walk the ball into the front. Jansher under pressure, uses the lob beautifully. Chris Dittmar stretching to hit the volley again. Really trying to pick up the pace against Jansher. But now, Chris under a bit of pressure here, and he too gets in underneath the ball, and look at the great lob he plays here. Perfect drive again, open face. Gets Jansher into the back corners. Great rally. Here Jansher has to play the high post. Now Chris waits very long but doesn't hit this ball anywhere. It goes short and Jansher pounces onto it, and it's a great length of it to put Chris under pressure again. There again, Jansher's ability to wait and wait to see what you're doing. You know, look at the length of the two players here now, both behind that service box. Great penetrating length from both of them, very tight to the wall. Both of them again building the rally, waiting for that opportunity when somebody plays a weak return that they can attack. Yeah, great cross from Jansher, putting Chris under pressure. But again, a good return length from Chris Dittmar. Yeah, Jansher again hitting that length, bit short. Chris getting onto it quickly, hitting a much better length into the back corner. Bit short from Chris. Jansher using the attacking drop a bit high. Chris on there, and look at that nice open racket face as he drops. But he's got himself out of position, and Jansher gets away with a let. Another great example of Chris Dittmar hunting the volley down, always trying to pick up the pace. Here you can see his movement's more urgent. He's really getting himself back on the tee quickly. He's trying to pick up the pace and put Jansher under pressure, looking for the volley all the time. But again, Jansher from anywhere on the court, just able to get underneath the ball, use the height of it, or put in the straight drop, always getting you out of position. And from anywhere, he just hits such a penetrating length, always behind that service box, always driving you back. And now and again, when he's got the time, he'll put in the bows to move you forward. And if you play a weak shot, he gets on there and hits that hard drive. Otherwise, he just uses that front wall to get the height up. There, Chris, look at that volley, changing the angle. Jansher quickly onto it, hitting the hard drive on the cross court. Just waiting, patience and patience, waiting for that weak shot that he can attack. There again, look at that length. Jansher just hitting it high up. Chris looking for the volley. Look at that great technique. Jansher under pressure is going to use the lob. Gets himself back to the tee. Look at that. Wins himself time. Look at him. Nicely comfortable on the tee. Chris Dittmar in the back corners again. Chris driving hard. You see him quickly getting back to the tee. Chris always hunting the volley down. He knows he's got to pick up the pace. The slow pace, Jansher's going to be able to run all day long. You've got to put him under pressure. There's that little boast again, moving Chris into the front. But the racket's down, so it looks like a drop. Jansher under big time pressure here, asks for the let and gets away with it. Here again on the serve, look at that open face control from Jansher. Length in the back corners. Chris, good feet position. Hard driving. Chris has picked up the pressure. You can see it. He's trying to hit the ball hard, and he's getting himself back on the tee. Look at that, driving back on the tee, always looking for the volley. Jansher hitting another great angled cross. Look at that, into the back corners. Chris on a hard drive now. Jansher under pressure, using the height again, open face, just getting Dittmar behind him all the time. Jansher just waiting for the position. There, steps in, open face, cuts the volley down. Chris Dittmar under pressure, going to use the lob. Now look at this volley. Jansher can also put it away. Sets himself up and straight in the neck. Great, great rally. Yeah, Chris is again looking for that volley to put Jansher under pressure. Steps in, use the volley, hitting a good length into the back. But Jansher, as usual, getting the back corners and hitting great lengths to get Chris behind him. There's the serve. Chris on a great technical volley. Look at that follow through. Perfect. Getting Jansher into the back corner. Now Jansher's starting to hit the ball a bit harder and pick up the pace. Look at that cross into the sidewall. Here, Chris decides to use a boast. Look how quickly Jansher is onto this. And hits that hard cross court out of a flick position, catching Dittmar out of position. And look at the perfect angle into the neck. Here Jansher serving to Chris. Chris letting her go through. And look at the great length he hits from this position. Sets himself up. Great cross court there. Jansher a bit under pressure here, making space for himself. Hits the short drive. Chris stretching. The ball's a bit tight. Nice position though. Doesn't get it up. Look at Jansher step in and use the open racket face for the volley short. Chris getting a bit too straight onto this drop. There's nowhere to go but back. And Jansher gets away with the let. He should have been a little bit more on the side to create the opening. Jansher again, look at the serve back onto the tee. Chris going for a cross court that doesn't come off now. Out of nowhere, look at that. This is the control of Jansher over the racket face. Out of a terrible position in front of him, he hits the perfect length. Great control of the racket face. Here you can see both players getting near the end of the game, both picking up the pace and using the volley as much as possible. Again, building that rally, hitting good lengths to the back and hunting the volley down there. Dittmar, perfect balance. Look at that cross. Jansher stretching, open face. Great cross court volley. Putting Dittmar into the back corners again. And again, both driving each other deep and then stepping in and looking for that volley. With a good position of Dittmar's feet again here. Set himself up. Nice open face to follow line. Jansher hits the cross court drop. Look at that. Controlled open face. Dittmar under huge pressure. Uses the lob. Gets it up. Great shot. Jansher hits the cross court. Always twisting Dittmar. Look at that length. Deep into the back corner. Huge stretch from Chris Dittmar to pick it out. But then again he hits the high ball and look at that. Perfectly back in the tee. A good start for the rally again. But again there goes Jansher's length behind that service box. Both of them again hitting the high ball a little bit higher now. Trying to get that position. There comes in the post. Straight drop. And Jansher's going to get a let out of that. Both players trying to feel the pace of the game now and both trying to end the rally a bit quicker. Another great length of the volley there. Jansher the open face flick again. Always hunting there. Straight open face drop. Dittmar going to be under pressure. Going to use the lob. Look at that nice open face and driving back to the tee. Jansher from the front to the back, making Dittmar do the maximum movement. Working him around the court. Two good lengths from both players. Jansher again there with that cross. Looking for that side wall. Yeah, looking for the volley now. Out of nowhere, look at that control of the racket face. Terrible position, but keeps the racket face open, follows the line of the ball, and straight in the neck. Here we see Chris Dittmar really attacking Jansher in the front of the court, trying to end the rallies quickly. Jansher serving down the middle, Dittmar getting there, hitting a great cross, stretching Jansher, forcing him into a post. And look at this. Good tee position from Dittmar, sets up the racket early, nice balance, hard cross court. Jansher under incredible pressure, uses the post again to get himself out. And look at this. Dittmar realizes, look at the acceleration as he gets in there quickly to play the drop. Jansher gets it quite comfortably, uses the drop again. Now look at the little cross drop from Dittmar. Open face. Jansher under extreme pressure, stretches, gets the racket underneath, and look at that. Perfect high ball, gets himself back on the tee. And Dittmar under pressure in the back corner, opens up the court by trying to play short. And look how Jansher holds the racket open, changes the angle, open face, Dittmar out of position, and he's won the point. Jansher wins the first game. As you can see, Jansher was a little bit more patient, waiting for Chris Dittmar to open up the court in the front when he used his speed to get onto the ball and drive deep to get Dittmar under pressure. End of the first game. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second game here.